The significance of an expression depends on how the interpretive community alive at the time of the adoption understood those words. The older the text, the more distant that interpretive community from our own. At some point, the difference becomes so great that the meaning is no longer recoverable, close quote. So the Constitution of the United States slowly fading away before our very eyes.
Well, I can't disagree with, I wouldn't have written that. I don't know why Frank wrote that. But it's
once you invited him to write the foreword, you were stuck?
It's undoubted. Well, yeah, Frank's all right. He knows what he's doing. And he is as much of a textualist as I am. What he said there is entirely true. I mean, when you can't recover the historical meaning, of course you can't do textualism. But that's not the case with respect to the provision of the Constitution that I'm talking about. We know what the laws were at the time the 17th, the Bill of Rights was adopted in 1791. We know what the laws of the various states were, and those laws were unchanged, which shows that those people did not think the death penalty was forbidden.
You make a contrary point in reading law, that when you first were elevated to the High Court, amicus briefs that included historical background were relatively unusual, and now they have become standard. So would it almost be right to argue that the history is coming more sharply into focus rather than fading away? Is that fair?
That's fair.
I'm just making that up.
That's fair.
It's fair, all right.
I wouldn't have made the point, but it's a fair point. I mean, the history's either there or it's not there. If, as Frank said, you can't retrieve it anymore, yes, it's an obstacle to giving the text its original meaning. I guess you have to fall back on, gee, I don't know what it meant originally, although I'm not sure what you would say is therefore it means what I think it ought to mean, but anyway. Yeah, it's a true statement, but it's not a criticism of proper historical inquiry where the history has not been lost, and it hasn't been lost for most of this stuff.